Welcome back, Defenders. Jake here. We're currently on day 18 of Ukraine's special military operation to liberate the people of Kursk. And Ukraine has captured another settlement in Russia's Kursk Oblast. This is according to President Zelensky after visiting the border city of Sumy. And I think over the next couple weeks, President Zelensky is going to visit Russia. He's going to enter the occupied territories and make an appearance in the town of Suja. Ukrainian journalists and members of parliament have already done this, so I think they're going to wait a couple weeks for things to settle down. But the photo op is just too irresistible to embarrass Putin and embarrass the Russians. If President Zelensky can go to Russia and meet with Ukrainian soldiers or meet with Russian locals and take some pictures and videos. So expect that to happen at some point in the future. I'm pretty confident Zelensky's going to do it. So here's the map, and officially, Ukrainian forces control 94 Russian settlements and about 1,300 square kilometers. Here's a map showing 2 additional villages in the last 48 hours. You can see Ukraine is making progress going west and going east and going south. So Ukraine probably is not going to go much deeper than they currently are. They don't really have to. They're always going to have the advantage if they just sweep across their border. There's already Ukrainian forces to the south, and now there's Ukrainian forces to the east, and if there's any Russians still in these trenches, they're going to be surrounded on all sides. So the Russians need to start over. They need to just build brand new defense lines. And this is what we're seeing from satellite images. Russia is scrambling to reset the board and try this again, and maybe they'll staff some soldiers who actually want to fight in these trenches. Though once again, I don't think Ukraine is going to go any deeper. These new defense lines being dug are along this highway, but Ukraine doesn't have to take the highway. They don't have to take any of these cities. Now that they're within artillery range and drone range, they can patrol this highway. If they see any valid military targets, they're going to get slammed by an FPV drone. So in the short term, this is the territory that Ukraine is focused on. They're calling this the cauldron. And there's no rush here. The village here is called Glushkovo, so this is the Glushkovo region of Russia. Ukraine took this sliver of territory a couple days ago. They're already staffed in the south, and they're moving from the east. So the Russian forces, there's about a couple thousand still in this region. They have a river behind them, and Ukraine has taken out the bridges. 2 bridges were completely down, and there was one where you could still get across it on foot. I think Ukraine did this deliberately to allow Russian civilians to evacuate. But we're on day 18. Anybody who wanted to evacuate could have evacuated by now. So all 3 of these bridges have now been dropped. Russia has attempted to construct pontoon bridges. They've been destroyed with artillery and HIMARS. So this region is cut off. So how many people? And the Russians are saying that 133,000 Russian civilians have evacuated this region, but about 20,000 Russian civilians remain. Sounds accurate. 20,000 is less than I thought it would be, but if they're living in the occupied territories, Ukraine now has to provide them food and water and make sure they remain safe to the best they can, but I'm sure at this point the Kremlin considers these 20,000 people to all be traitors. Everyone is on their own. In battlefield Kursk region, civilians feel forgotten by their own country. There's videos online as Russian soldiers pull out of areas. They just loot all the stores. Here's a video in the Glushkovo region. And this was a wild berries warehouse. This is like the equivalent of a Russian Amazon. And there's surveillance video of Russians just going in and helping themselves, taking whatever they want. This is the city of Glushkovo, and this is a civilian who remained, basically walking down his main street, filming all of the destroyed shops, all of the looted stores. The Ukrainian forces have never entered this village. This is what the Russian military did to their own town. They just looted everything and took anything of value. Now, this could indicate that they plan on withdrawing from this region, and if you plan on leaving anyways, sure, take whatever you can so that Ukrainian forces can't take it, but sure doesn't look like they're going to hold the line and fight for this town. If you want to see combat footage from the Kursk region, you guys know I don't really focus on that in my videos, but I will link this video down below if you want to see a Russian supply truck ambushed, and then several Russians eliminated, but several more Russians were taken prisoner. It's an interesting video if you want to see combat from the war zone. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russia shifts their airborne units from Zaporizhia to Kursk to handle this Ukrainian advance. Russian military command has redeployed elements of the 56th VDV Regiment from Zaporizhia back to Russia. That's a good thing. However, Russia bolsters Pokrovsk offensive despite Ukrainian gains in Kursk. Despite early hopes that the Kursk offensive would divert Russian forces, Ukraine now faces intensified pressure in Pokrovsk. So I think the Kremlin is saying it's okay if we lose some of our own territory as long as we're still making progress in the Donbass region. So this is the axis in which Russia has been pushing the hardest with the most success the last year. Once again, 2.5 years ago they started here, but if we can just ignore, let's just say in the last 9 months, the Russian military has succeeded in advancing 36 kilometers. We've talked about this on the channel why. And the reason why is Ukraine provides resources and allocates defenders to protect this tree line or that field. Putting more guys in trenches doesn't increase the likelihood that that tree line or trench will be held. Increasing the number of defenders in a field means more defenders will just die under an artillery barrage or a glide bomb attack. So there's a military science to it, but there's only so many guys they should put in any geographic region. And if the Russians allocate enough metal and men and bombs, they will take that field, they will take that tree line. So the Russians have been brute forcing their way, taking horrendous losses to get to the city of Pokrovsk. This is what they view as the key to this region, taking this triple junction of the highway, cutting off supplies going this direction, cutting off supplies going this direction. And Pokrovsk is, for Donetsk, a big city. Avdiivka, pre-war population was about 30,000. Bakhmut was 60,000, and Pokrovsk is also 60,000. So to take this city, the Russian military really only has one move. They're just going to rain artillery on the entire town for months. Every day, an artillery unit firing North Korean shells. They're going to destroy this house, they're going to destroy this house, they're going to destroy this house. Every single day, systematically, house by house. In the events there's Ukrainian defenders living in that house or using that basement as a headquarters. So they're going to destroy every building like they did to Bakhmut, and then it's going to be meat waves. They're going to try and find people they don't care about to bum rush into the city to just waste Ukrainian ammunition. So will the Russians take the city of Pokrovsk? Maybe. At the rate they're going, in a year and a half, potentially, yeah. Let's get to the story that I find the most amusing. 6-day blaze expands in Rostov Oil Depot after reported follow-up of a Ukrainian drone strike. We're now on day 7. Day 7 of this oil depot fire. And it looked like the fire might be going out, and Ukraine hit it again. I didn't see that coming. That's pretty brilliant. Rostov fuel depot blaze aggravated by a second Ukrainian drone strike. Residents living close to the oil and gas inferno in its 6th day reported yet more explosions overnight. There's videos. I will link these videos down below, but congratulations, Russia. This has to be the largest oil depot fire in world history. You're going on 7 days. That's incredible. Once again, videos, videos, videos. I'll link them down below. But here is the town. We can zoom out, and this is the Rostov region of Russia. So we can zoom back in, and this is the town of Proletarsky. And the oil depot is just southeast of the town. And these containers must have all been full. Ukraine slammed into one, it triggered a fire. It's basically this popcorn effect where more of the canisters every 12 or 6 hours or whatever, the next one goes. And then it slow cooks and eventually explodes the next one. And Russian firefighter crews can't stop this chain reaction. And the fires have been going for so long and they're so bad, they've actually spread into the town. This region of Proletarsky is now on fire. Homes are on fire. And I don't think the firefighting crews in this region have the resources to now deal with the fire happening in the city. Videos, I'll link them down below. I can show you screenshots, but I don't think I can show you videos of the destruction. And these barrels of gasoline, God forbid, it's really scary. This was a Russian fuel train car going right next to the oil depot through the fire. Locals on the ground were taking video. This is a firefighter hiding behind some hay bales, but that's the inferno on day 6 of the fire. This is a video of a firefighting crew inside their truck saying, F, it exploded, our guys are over there. I don't know if any Russian firefighters have been killed, but there are reports of Russian firefighters who have been injured with heat stroke or burns as a result of trying to fight this fire. I think the Kremlin ordered these priests to come a little bit closer to the fire in order to continue praying that the fire will go out. But I don't think this priest brought enough holy water to stop all this jet fuel and kerosene from continuing to ignite. What else is going wrong for Russia? Ukrainian strike sinks fuel-laden ferry in a Russian port. The ferry reportedly was carrying 30 fuel tanks and was targeted by a Neptune missile launched from Odessa. Ukrainian Navy confirms the Kerch Strait's last operating Russian ferry has now been destroyed with a Neptune missile strike. Ukraine got the intelligence that this ferry was being loaded up with fuel train cars. This has a lot of people confused. If the rail line going across the bridge is still operational, why would Russia waste time loading rail fuel cars onto a ship just to cross the Kerch Strait? But it's Russia, it doesn't have to make sense. This is the Conroe Trader Ferry, and Ukraine hit it with a Neptune missile. We don't have a video of the moment of impact, but this happened during the daytime. Lots of people were at this ferry taking video of the destruction. Here's a satellite image showing the ferry. This is the before, the day before the attack, and here's the after. Yeah, I'd say that boats and that ferry are going to be out of commission for quite some time. Let's follow up on the Russian airfield that was also attacked by drones. Ukrainian long-range drones blast and set ablaze a Russian military airfield, fuel and ammunition depots. So we had the satellite images, and it took a day for the experts to look at it and assess potentially what was the damage. People are focusing on these hangars and the destruction and potentially what planes were inside. And a Su-34 and a Su-24 were completely destroyed in the repair zone. A Su-34 was destroyed or damaged in Hangar 3. 2 Su-34s were likely damaged in Hangars 5 and 6. And a Su-24 was likely damaged in Hangar 7. It's unclear if there was an aircraft in Hangar 4. So yeah, this was huge losses. This was the fuel depot, ammunition depot, and then their jets. parked out on this airfield east of Moscow. Police neutralize 4 inmates after hostage standoff at a Volgograd prison. These were members of a terrorist group who took control of a Russian prison in Volgograd. They were making demands. They wanted a helicopter and several $1 million, and that's just not how Russia responds to hostage situations. So, of course, the prison was stormed and hostages were killed. All of the terrorists were killed. This is what Russia does whenever this happens. But I do want to share this video of Putin trying to put out a video. The occupation of Kursk is the new normal. He doesn't want to talk about that. But he is sensitive about Islamic terrorism. This is something, I guess, that still concerns the Russian public. So Putin felt the need to put out this video, and I just want you to observe his body language for about 30 seconds.
Уважаемые коллеги, добрый день. Здравствуйте. Начальник ФСИН доложил мне ситуацию, которая складывается в одном из мест лишения свободы в Волгоградской области. Хотел бы в этой связи послушать соображения и оценки министра внутренних дел, директора ФСБ Виктор Васильевич Золотов. Будет у меня.
Putin doesn't look happy. There is video, I'll link it down below, of the terrorists harming people inside the prison. Of course, they're terrorists, they're going to harm people. And then the Russians, after killing all the terrorists, released the pictures. They did the exact same thing with the Krakow City Hall attacks. If you commit acts of terrorism against Russia, they're going to broadcast all over social media that there's no benefits. They're going to brutalize you and make you pay if you attempt to do this. But that's not how terrorists think and operate. These men, in some respects, want to die. So I think the terrorist situation is only going to get worse as the Caucasus region is restless at the moment. Let's talk about a foreign visit. Modi meets with President Zelensky on a historic Ukraine visit. It's unclear if Modi could be an effective deal maker. He still has good relations with Putin, giving him a hug last month on the same day that Russia bombed the children's hospital in Kyiv. Indian Prime Minister Modi urges a peaceful resolution of the war in Ukraine during his historic visit to Kyiv. Does the Prime Minister of India actually want peace? India overtakes China as Russia's top oil buyer in the month of July. If the Indians or the Chinese actually wanted peace, then they could participate in economic sanctions against Russia. It's been 2.5 years. If they thought they just could do business as normal with the Russians and eventually Russia would win, Russia can't win. The fastest way to end this war is to give Ukraine all the weapons they need and apply maximum financial pressure on the Russians. If the Chinese and the Indians just helped a little bit, it could end this war a lot faster for everyone. Let's now talk about U.S. politics. It's coming up in 70 days. Kamala Harris formally accepts the Democratic nomination for president, says she will stand strong with Ukraine. So here's the moment of her acceptance speech that's relevant to this channel, saying that she will stand strong with Ukraine and NATO.
Not abdicate our global leadership. Trump, on the other hand, threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies, said Russia could, quote, do whatever the hell they want. 5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade. I helped mobilize a global response over 50 countries to defend against Putin's aggression. And as president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies.
That is what the nominee for both our political parties should be saying. But only one nominee for our two political parties is willing to say that. The Republican nominee praises Putin, praises the Russians, and attacks NATO, saying that if Russia wants to invade any NATO country who doesn't pay up to Trump, they can do whatever the hell they want. So let's quick talk about RFK Jr. As soon as I saw the first video clip of this guy, I knew he was a Russian agent. RFK Jr. suspends his presidential bid and backs Donald Trump before appearing with him at his rally. So the same billionaires that are funding Donald Trump were also funding RFK Jr. Because of his family name Kennedy, his job was to steal Democratic votes away from Kamala Harris. That wasn't working. RFK was actually stealing more votes from Trump, so people stopped giving him money. He dropped out, and he's endorsed Donald Trump. And RFK Jr. is insane. He was polling at like 4 or 5%, but do I need to explain any more than this headline? RFK Jr. admits to dumping a dead bear in Central Park, solving a decade-old mystery. 10 years ago, when RFK Jr. was a young man, 60 years old, he killed a baby bear, mutilated the body, took fun pictures and videos with it, and then dumped the body of the bear in Central Park in Manhattan. This man is insane. He was getting 4 or 5%. He was being funded by the same people who were funding Trump, working with the Russians. It's all consolidated now and come together. So here's RFK Jr. speaking for himself why he's chosen to endorse Donald Trump.
And now, to throw my support to President Trump, the causes were free speech, the war in Ukraine, and the war on our children.
So that's why. 3 issues. Free speech, and whenever people like Elon Musk talk about free speech, they're talking about protecting the free speech of propagandists from Russia, China, or whoever. He then says the war in Ukraine. We believe him when he says that. And then he says freedom or protection of our children. And RFK says his number one issue is the health of children, which is a euphemism for being anti-vax. This is the center of everything he believes, and he knows right-wing populism is the only movement stupid enough to give him what he wants. RFK Jr. hates vaccines. He's anti-vax, even though there's zero science to support anything he says or believes in. And if I have to give Donald Trump credit on something, Donald Trump is not anti-vax. Donald Trump is fully vaccinated. Donald Trump's entire family is fully vaccinated for everything. And Donald Trump doesn't promote vaccine conspiracies. Donald Trump will promote COVID-19 conspiracies, and he'll say that the pandemic wasn't severe or it was all a hoax. But Donald Trump doesn't talk about vaccines. So if RFK Jr. is not endorsing Donald Trump because of Trump's position on vaccines, it's one issue. It's just Ukraine. RFK Jr. is putting all his support behind Trump to help the Russians win, to destroy Ukraine. And he even says so on stage with Donald Trump right there.
He also told me that he wanted to end the grip of the neocons on U.S. foreign policy. He said he didn't want any more $200 billion wars in Ukraine, that we could use that money back here in the United States.
No more. RFK Jr. is saying Trump told him no more $200 billion wars in Ukraine. We can use that money here in the United States. So it's not been $200 billion, let's not lie. Additionally, more than 80% of that money never leaves the United States. We give Ukraine old weapons, stuff that we built in the 80s and 90s, stuff that we're going to have to decommission or dispose of anyways. We then allocate money to build brand new stuff for ourselves. Those are American jobs, that's growing American GDP, that's generating tax revenue, and important states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Texas, Wisconsin, Florida. It's all a sham, guys. It's just a sham. Here's RFK Jr. getting burgers with Bobby. This was posted 3 weeks ago. Scott Ritter is a convicted child sex offender who's currently being investigated by the FBI for being a foreign agent of Russia. And a guy running for president proudly took this selfie with him. And now all these people have consolidated behind Trump to help the Russians win. If you're watching my videos and you still support Trump, I don't know how I can connect the dots any more clearly for you guys. Here's a tweet. After decades of aggressive expansion, does anyone really think NATO is a defensive alliance anymore? I'm done. Kamala Harris is going to win. Donald Trump is going to lose in November. Military support for Ukraine will continue for another year or two, and Russia has no hope of winning this war. We're done. Let's get to the good news for Ukraine. Lithuania to provide Ukraine with short-range air defense systems and 5,000 drones before this winter. Thank you so much to the people of Lithuania. Netherlands to donate advanced mobile drone detection radars to Ukraine. Thank you so much to the fantastic people of the Netherlands. The United States announced its 64th military aid package for Ukraine, worth $125 million. It's the usual stuff: artillery shells and tow missiles and javelins and HIMARS ammunition. 115 Ukrainians returned home in the first POW exchange since the Kursk region offensive. This is a prize. This is a victory. With thousands of these conscripts being taken prisoner in the Kursk region, maximum pressure is going to be applied on the Kremlin for them just to give Ukraine back all their POWs. There's no reason Russia needs to hold on to any of these guys. All right, update on the fundraiser. It's been a very good week. If you didn't see the fundraiser launch video, I'll link it down below, but we're currently trying to fundraise another $1 million. Our YouTube community did this back in May for my birthday. We fundraised almost $1.2 million. We launched this fundraiser starting Monday, and on day 6, we're at $806,437. Thank you so much to everyone who supports Ukraine, who watches these videos. If you're on a tight budget or you're already donating to Ukraine in other ways, don't worry about this fundraiser. Give this video a like. Leave me a nice positive comment. It helps. But I just want to share with you, if you're still on the fence, whether or not you want to kick in $5, $10, or $20. Let me share with you 2 more units that are going to be getting drones and trucks from our fundraiser. The first one is the 14th Unmanned Aerial Surveillance Reconnaissance Unit, I think that's their name. But this is the video they made for our channel.
We are members of the Unmanned System Forces. Since the USF is first of its kind, newly formed branch of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, we require assistance in occurrence off-road vehicles such as pickup trucks for swift logistics to the areas of operation. We ask nato, Charity Fund Help 99, and JakeBroeYT Company to help the Unmanned System Forces, the world first of its kind, with their request. On behalf of USF, we'll make sure that Russia will be defeated. Glory to Ukraine! Glory to the heroes!
These guys are looking good. We got one more video request, this time from the 79th Brigade. And this is their drone shop.
Hello, Jake Bro. Hello, NATO. I'm from a tech drone unit of a 79 Airfield Brigade, guys. And here we are in our workshop, drone workshop, guys. This is heart of our unit, and here is Dr. Death. He makes drones to kill Russians, and I want to show you something. Follow me. Guys, it's drones. Every drone able to destroy tank, kill infantry and others. So we need them more and more. We will never have enough of drones because Russians are too many. But also we need vehicles, cars to bring these drones to our combat positions. So if you would like, it would be really great if you will help us to collect money for drones, for cars. It's gonna be a really good support for Ukraine, for our army. So thanks everybody who help collect money for this, who help us, who support Ukraine. You're the best. Glory to Ukraine and glory to volunteers. Glory to you.
Drones and trucks save lives. Thanks for being a part of this, guys. That's all for this update video. Glory to Ukraine, glory to the heroes. If you found this video informative, give me a thumbs up. Best way to support the channel. Comments and questions, let me know down below. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video, keep defending the truth, keep defending democracy.